What if Animal Jam allowed you to completely customize your animal with any colors and patterns that you wanted? What if you could create your own rare and glitched items that match your look perfectly? What if there were no more chat restrictions, so you don't have to use code words just to ask for someone's Instagram? And what if I told you that all of this and more will actually be possible in just a couple of months? That's right, folks. The Animal Jam community is getting a huge revamp this year, but it's not happening the way you think. See, over the past 5 years, Animal Jam has been on the decline, but it's been especially noticeable over the last year or so. There are a lot of reasons for that, actually. One of the most evident reasons is that players are aging out of the game. While Animal Jam has a noticeable demographic of older players who just can't seem to let their childhood go, me, the majority of players quit the game when they've aged out. That age is different for everyone, but it seems to be around the 12 to 13 mark. It's a painful journey for some because we all love the things that make Animal Jam unique from other games, such as the beautiful aesthetic inspired by ancient cultures, the captivating lore with alphas and gods, or the dedicated community of fanatics like me who make videos and Instagram posts. But eventually, as older players continue to quit, a chain reaction unfolds. Players that might have ordinarily stuck it through become disheartened over seeing their favorite YouTubers or friends leave, and they end up wanting to leave themselves. It's become a never-ending cycle as of late. The community has been dying down with everyone becoming too old and uninspired. You'd think that Animal Jam would still be saved by the potential of new, younger players joining. Unfortunately though, that's not the case. The other factor that's been detracting from Animal Jam's performance is the shutdown of Flash in 2020. Have you ever had this pop-up on your web browser when you try to log into Animal Jam telling you to activate Flash? That's because Animal Jam is actually run on Flash. But the software has been progressively shutting down over the past few months and will officially stop running at the end of this year. That's why Animal Jam made the downloadable desktop client, but it's a lot trickier attracting new players to the platform when you have to download it first. Flash incompatibilities have actually turned away a huge number of potential players for Animal Jam in recent times, so a lot of work will need to be done to modernize the game if they're going to continue running it for years to come. Those are just the main factors. Of course, there are a lot of other smaller factors like the lack of unique updates and the push towards paid features like sapphires, diamonds, and membership. Collectively, these issues have turned a once wildly successful game to a dying one, which is something none of us ever thought we'd see. Luckily though, for the players who have hung in there, there's still hope. Remember when I was talking about that revamp Animal Jam is supposed to have this year? Well, I wasn't kidding guys, it really is something special. Of course, the revamp isn't actually happening to Animal Jam itself, or at least not in the way that we'd think of. But something new is coming, something that will change the trajectory for the whole Animal Jam community. And that, my friends, is Feral. Feral is a new game being developed by WildWorks, the company that made Animal Jam, Play Wild, Dash Tag, and Tunnel Town. It's a totally separate platform from Animal Jam, but shares a similar aesthetic and target audience. Feral is the game for players who have aged out of Animal Jam, but still appreciate the game's sense of community and affinity for nature and style. It's the Animal Jam with endless possibilities. It irons out all the things that we've been complaining about and adds entire new dimensions. So let's start getting into the specifics. Feral was first announced to the public on April 24th, 2019 at a membership meeting for UDEN, standing for Utah Digital Entertainment Network. I'll put the article link in the description. I highly recommend you guys all read it for yourselves because it contains a ton of interesting insights about Animal Jam, the gaming industry, and how to grow a successful company. That might sound like boring stuff to you guys, but you'll learn a ton. For example, apparently Animal Jam players make as many trades as the Australian Stock Exchange. Crazy. Okay, I just went off on a tangent. Now, back to Feral. So basically, Feral was announced at this meeting by Clark Stacey himself, the CEO of WildWorks. The idea came when the company realized that their Animal Jam audience was phasing out, but had no new game to move into. Animal Jam players, specifically older ones, are an underserved demographic. We want to make friends and socialize online, but we also want to express ourselves creatively through art and design, and safely outside the emotionally damaging platforms of Instagram and YouTube. So Feral was created to be a safe space without being monitored as strictly as Animal Jam. We can share our social media profiles and say what we want, but we don't have to worry about bullying and harassment because there's still moderation. In terms of the gameplay itself, the atmosphere is similar to Animal Jam but far more mythological. The aesthetic is a bit darker and more mature, and there's way more customization. You start with a base avatar. The example Clark mentioned is called Kitsune, a mythological fox. From there, you can pick your colors, tattoos, and appendages, so you can really look however you want. In terms of the economy, there are still items, but they're a bit different. Instead of buying them from a store, you make them yourself by finding rare resources in the game environment. Then you can color them however you'd like and trade them with other people, leading to a far more intricate trading realm. There's also a lore to the game, which is a bit up in the air at the moment, but the overall concept is that you're assigned quests to complete that seem to be integrated more closely with the game than adventures are in Animal Jam. So there's a much lower chance of succumbing to boredom in this one if you're an older player. So what's next? Well, originally Pharaoh was supposed to undergo beta testing this summer, but in a recent podcast, Clark Stacy revealed that the testing is being pushed back. Pharaoh will undergo closed beta in December of this year, meaning invited testers will have access to play the game before its official release. The full release is currently scheduled for the beginning of 2020, so that's still pretty soon. If you'd like to watch the podcast, the link is in the description of this video. Let's show Clark some appreciation by commenting on the video. I've also linked the Pharaoh website below so that you can be on the lookout for testing updates. But now, let's talk about Animal Jam again for a minute. What does this mean for the future of the game? Well, right now we have a few questions answered. First, Animal Jam isn't shutting down just yet. Animal Jam and Pharaoh will actually be fueling each other, so it wouldn't make sense for Animal Jam to be shut down completely. We'll probably see some changes in the game once Pharaoh is released, but for now, new features in Animal Jam are extremely limited because the WildWorks team is focusing all their resources on developing Pharaoh. That's why the updates are seemingly mundane at the moment. The team doesn't have the resources to come up with new concepts each week because they're working on something completely different. So we might just have to accept the recycled updates for a while. Once Pharaoh is released though, not only will Animal Jam be revamped to attract new players, but WildWorks may even be releasing another game for even younger players. This was mentioned in the podcast, but basically the plan is to extend WildWorks' target demographic from 8 to 12-year-olds to something more like 3 to 30-year-olds. That's like a pretty rough estimate because I don't have all the information yet, but that's sort of the goal. They want to make a new game for extremely young kids, then transition those kids from that game to Animal Jam, and finally transition the Animal Jam players to Pharaoh, where people will stay indefinitely because it has more mature features. So ultimately, there will be 3 different games serving kids of all generations. Pretty cool, right? That was a lot of explaining I just did, but hopefully it gives some clarity to the point of Animal Jam dying. The truth is, while no game lasts forever, Animal Jam doesn't have any intentions of dying just yet. Things are hitting a low point right now, but that's in the wake of new things coming. To give you guys an example, sometimes a musician that had a super successful debut album dies down once their tour ends. You don't hear their name in the media for a while, but then, bam, they make a new album and have the world's attention again. That's kind of what's happening with Animal Jam. This is the first game of many to come, and just because things are slowing down now doesn't mean they won't pick back up again in the future. Animal Jam might shut down one day, but for the time being, it's very much alive. It won't have the same fate as Club Penguin because there's a long-term plan in place. I hope this video has helped people in the community who might be sad about things being slow in Animal Jam these days. I feel your pain as someone who's been in this community for 8 years. But we have to look forward to the amazing things coming. When Pharaoh comes out, I'm going to be making tons of videos about it, so get ready folks. But before I end the video, I need 2 favors. First is, if you could ask Clark Stacy or a WildWorks employee any question about their company, Animal Jam, Pharaoh, or anything, what would it be? Comment that below because I might be using it for a future video. Second, be sure to check out my latest vlog on my vlog channel, Life of Wisteria. I'm going to be posting a lot on there in the coming weeks alongside this channel, so you're definitely going to want to subscribe to that. I also respond to almost every comment I get on there. Fun fact. Anyways guys, that's just about going to wrap it up for this video. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!